What's up guys, the Ikelos SMG is back in Destiny 2 for the third time, and once again is the best weapon in the game for PvE, and it really isn't even close. If you played the last time this weapon was out with Warmind cells, you would know that it was more or less the best weapon in PvE for almost like 2 years until they nerfed Warmind cells. It was that good and practically like the only weapon you could really use, and somehow it is back with even better perks. And yeah, it is really good and will be a must get for the foreseeable future and will easily be one of the best, if not the best weapons in the game. So how do you even get your hands on this weapon now? Well, the first way you're able to farm this weapon is getting 12 of the resident stems, which you can first get from completing activities, combine 4 of them into a node, then go find the node. And you'll be able to do that 12 times. Every single time it'll give you an Ikelos weapon guaranteed. Then once you've done your first 12, you'll no longer be able to create the nodes to go find. And with the sims, you then will be able to focus umbrals in the new vendor, either by directly focusing for the SMG with this upgrade right here, the Ikelos weapon focusing, which will cost the umbral energy. Or what you can do is just pull the generic Ikelos weapons umbral engrams, which does not cost any umbral energy, so you'll be able to do that one quite often. So every single time you do one of the seasonal gameplay loops, you should be able to pull one of the SMGs and multiple of the just generic engrams, and that will be the best way to farm it for now. Later on in the season, with more and more upgrades, probably be easier and easier, but that is the way you do it. So if you didn't play before, what makes this thing special? Well, it's a 750 RPM energy SMG, which is among the best filling primaries in the game, and in my opinion, the best. And what really makes it stand out this time is the perks on it. So we go and look at the perks on this weapon. In the right column, you will see right off the bat, it has Bolt Shot on it, which is a perk that was introduced last season if you didn't play. It is basically like Arc 3.0 in a weapon perk. Then outside of that, in the left we have Feeding Frenzy, and in the right we have Surrounded. So just jumping straight in with Volt Shot. If you didn't play last season and didn't get Sidearm or Scout with this perk on it, it is easily the best perk in the game. It is great for AoE Actor, just shooting one target will then chain to everything nearby. Then for damage, it also is secretly the best damage perk in the game. I made a video last season breaking down how that works, but since Volt Shot applies Jolt to a target, it can be procced multiple times if they're higher health, and every single time it procs, it does a huge chunk of damage, which over time, as you proc it more and more, outweighs almost every damage perk in the game, and results in higher damage per second than using something like Surrounded, you know, Kill Clip, wherever it is. So not only is it the best accurate perk for primary, it is also one of the best damage perks, and you'll be able to see what I mean by that a lot more in the gameplay at the end. You run up to a major with this perk and you'll be killing it extremely fast, as if you're like using a special, just due to the extra damage from a Bolt Shot. The only downside of this perk before the season was that for primaries it was only on a Sidearm and Scout, and now that it's on one of the best SMGs of all time, there really isn't any other primaries that can even compete with this scene. It also has Feeding Frenzy in the left, one of the best reload perks in the game, where with this weapon with no other reload increases at all, with ×2 you're pretty close to being at the max. At 3 you basically are. At 4 it's only slightly faster. So with ×3 you're practically at the max reload speed. But then depending on if you have something like Third Magwell, a Reload Masterwork, or just throw on one SMG loader, with ×2, you're going to be practically at that reload speed cap, and with ×3 you definitely will be. So overall, this role of Feeding Frenzy plus Volt Shot is, I mean, is just perfect. There is almost no other primary in the game that will even be able to compete with this thing. Once you get this role, you'll see what I mean. It is just that good. Then the other perk on the right that you could use is going to be Surrounded, which just got a huge like indirect buff by no longer having a surrounded spec. The spec is now built into the perk, which means it got a 7.7% damage increase in a way, because you can still use a minor spec or major spec or boss spec mod on the weapon. And down the road, if you enhance the surrounded perk, that'll be a 5% increase once again. So overall, with all those different things going on, Surrounded will be a huge damage increase to this weapon, But as we mentioned, Volt Shot is not only a damage increase, it's also obviously great AoE actor. So while Surrounded is absolutely great, and with it comboed with Feeding Frenzy, you'll be shredding through enemies like crazy, Volt Shot is still just that much better. But with all that being said, this role is still extremely strong, and if it's one you get, definitely hang on to it, because, you know, it's still going to be a great SMG overall. And as you may have seen throughout a lot of this gameplay, since this weapon is a Seraph / Ikelos weapon, it can create Warmind cells as long as you have a Warmind cell mod on. So the only one you really need to get this combo going will be Global Reach, which will make it so the damage and the size of the explosions is larger. And if you didn't play 2 years ago when Warmind cells were like the hot thing, they were extremely broken back in the day, but they got nerfed quite a bit. They're still strong, and they'll just be, you know, a little bit more of AoE actor, or at least do a chunk of damage to a lot of things nearby. But I'm not quite sure they're worth building into more than just Global Reach. Back in the day, you would use Wrath of Rasputin and Rage of the Warmind to create like an infinite loop from just the Warmind cell explosions themselves. I'm not quite sure it's worth building that far into it now. I think just Global Reach is enough. I might make a video showing off some Warmind cell builds, since it's been a few years since they were kind of relevant. But yeah, I think that is all there really is to say about this weapon. Once again, it is the best weapon in Destiny 2. Volt Shot on one of the best SMGs of all time is just an unbeatable combo, and I can see this thing being one of the best weapons for quite a long time, so it's definitely going to be the most important weapon to get this season. Let me know what you think about it down below. The rest of the video will just be some gameplay from the new Heist Battleground, and this gameplay really showcases just how strong Volt Shot is, not only for group actor, but also taking out higher health targets. And the way I was talking about how it's also one of the best damage perks, I think this really shows off what I mean by that. Like usual, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.